The stage lights buzzed overhead as 17-year-old Eli Martinez stood frozen behind the velvet curtain, his hands trembling as they clutched the old, weathered microphone. It still smelled faintly of his father's cologne, sandalwood and smoke. Tonight, it wasn't just about singing. It was about remembering. About honoring. And about healing. Backstage at the biggest music talent show in Los Angeles, other contestants were chatting nervously or running scales. Eli stood alone, whispering, "This is for you, Dad," as he stared at a photo tucked inside his guitar case, his father in army fatigues, grinning beside a young Eli with a crooked front tooth and eyes full of wonder. His father, Staff Sergeant Miguel Martinez, had been a quiet man with a deep love for classic rock and soft spot for underdogs. Every night, after long shifts at the mechanic shop, he'd play music for Eli, Springsteen, the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac. But Hotel California, that was their song. The one they sang together in the car, at backyard BBQs, and once, quietly, on the roof the night before his deployment to Afghanistan. He never came back. That was 2 years ago. Now, standing on a national stage, Eli had only one goal, to make his father proud. When the announcer called his name, the crowd gave polite applause. The judges, 2 music legends and a comedian, glanced at him with raised brows. He looked nervous. Too thin. Too young. One whispered, "Another stage fright teen." A spotlight followed Eli as he walked slowly to center stage, carrying nothing but his father's old guitar. He placed a trembling hand on the mic stand, swallowed hard, and introduced himself. "My name's Eli Martinez. I'm from Bakersfield. And, this song is for my dad." The crowd quieted. He began to strum, the haunting chords of Hotel California echoing through the auditorium like a ghost walking the aisles. The first notes were fragile, like glass on the verge of cracking. But then, something shifted. His voice grew stronger, warmer, full of ache and memory. "On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair." He didn't perform it. He lived it. Every word poured from a well of grief, love, and longing too deep for someone his age. The song wasn't just being sung, it was felt. Judges leaned in. The audience stilled. Even the cameraman stopped adjusting focus. Midway through the second verse, Eli's voice wavered. He closed his eyes and let a tear fall, but didn't stop. The lyrics curled around pain like a ribbon wrapping an old wound. By the time he reached the final chorus, something extraordinary happened. People started standing. One judge, known for his icy critiques, was wiping his eyes. The comedian judge was no longer smirking. Even backstage, fellow contestants stood in silence, their phones forgotten. And when he hit the last note, letting it ring into the hushed theater, the world held its breath. Then, boom. The golden buzzer lit up like the 4th of July. Confetti exploded above him. Eli stood motionless as the crowd erupted. He blinked, stunned. One of the judges rose from her chair, walked on stage, and wrapped him in a hug. "You didn't just sing, Eli," she whispered. "You brought him here." We all felt it. As Eli stepped off stage, emotion crashing over him like waves, a woman approached him, tears streaking her cheeks. She was in uniform, Air Force, and clutched a folded American flag. "I lost my son," she said, voice cracking. "You gave me a piece of him back tonight. Thank you." He hugged her tightly. Then this song was for both of them. In the weeks that followed, Eli's performance went viral. Millions watched the clip, leaving comments like, "Cried like a baby," and "This kid's voice carries heaven." Veterans groups reached out. So did single parents, grieving families, and kids from small towns who saw in Eli the quiet strength they carried every day. He didn't just win a round on a talent show. He sparked a movement. People began sharing their own stories of love, loss, and the songs that tethered them to the ones they missed. And behind every post was Eli's voice, still echoing. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. Months later, on the finale stage, Eli performed again. This time, he smiled as he sang, his voice still tender, but steadier. There was still grief in it, yes. But now, there was light too. When asked by the host what the journey meant to him, Eli didn't speak right away. He looked into the camera, tears in his eyes, and said simply, I thought I lost my dad forever. But every time I sing, I realize he never really left. He's in the music. He's in me. And maybe, just maybe, in all of you too. And as the world watched, heart swelling, Eli strummed the final chord, lifted his eyes to the sky, and whispered. This one's for you, Pop.